Experts have been debating this question for decades at gun ranges and shop counters across America. What is the perfect handgun? Not the most tactical, not the most expensive, the one that owners simply refuse to let go of, the one that passes from father to son without losing a grain of trust, the one that professional buyers hold on to when everything else goes to trade. Today, I'm giving you 8 answers. These are the 8 handguns with almost 0 complaints in their entire history. Not according to a magazine review. Not according to a sponsored YouTube channel. According to the secondary market, military contracts, and law enforcement adoption records. The only data that cannot be bought. And number 1 has been in continuous production since 1975. More than 50 years. 0 safety recalls. 0. Not 1. The military forces of over 75 countries ran independent evaluations and arrived at the same answer. Stay until the end, because that pistol will permanently change the way you think about what a handgun is supposed to be. If you want to know what's actually worth your money before you spend it and not after, subscribe right now. No sponsorships, no manufacturer relationships, no industry access that changes what gets said. 1 click, free, 8 to 1. Let's go. Number 8. Walther PDP. In 2021, Walther launched the performance duty pistol designed from scratch for competition and law enforcement duty simultaneously. Most manufacturers pick one. Walther built a single platform that handles both without compromise. The trigger is the defining feature. Walther's reduced travel system eliminated most pre-travel that makes striker-fired triggers feel vague. The result is a cleaner, more repeatable break than nearly anything at this price. 9mm, 4-inch barrel, 18+1 capacity. Optics ready from the factory. Ambidextrous controls standard. Picatinny rail integrated. 0 safety recalls since launch. 0 documented systemic defects. Independent platforms have run it past 20,000 rounds without a mechanical failure. Owner criticism in forums is consistent and narrow. The price of magazines. That is it. When the only complaint about a duty pistol is magazine cost, the engineering is correct. Number 7. Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0. Smith & Wesson has been making firearms since 1852. The M&P 2.0, launched in 2016, corrected every criticism the original line had accumulated from law enforcement and civilian users over a decade. The grip texture is the most aggressive in its category, genuinely adhesive under stress and in wet conditions. 4 interchangeable palm swells mean virtually any hand finds its ideal fit. Striker fired, 9mm, 4¼ barrel, 17+1. Armor Night coated steel barrel that outperforms most military corrosion standards. Thousands of U.S. police departments adopted the M&P 2.0 as their primary duty weapon. Agency testing at 50,000 rounds produces failure rates that round statistically to 0. Dealers actively seek them in trade. When the buyer across the counter wants what you're selling, you made the right call. Number 6. HKVP9. In 2014, Heckler & Koch released their first striker-fired pistol and called it the Volkspistole, the People's Pistol, the VP9. The name sounds like marketing. The engineering does not. 3 backstrap sizes combined with 6 interchangeable side panels produce 27 grip combinations. Whether your hands belong to a surgeon or a lineman, a configuration exists for you. The trigger resets short with a defined wall and immediate tactile feedback. Independent testing averages 5.4 kilograms of pull weight with a clean break, 9mm, 4.1-inch polygonal barrel, 17 plus 1. Weight 725 grams. Independent users have documented 75,000 rounds through VP9s without mechanical failure. On factory specs and mixed ammunition, 75,000 rounds from non-sponsored sources is not a talking point. It is a result. Number 5. Ruger GP100. Number 5 is not a semi-automatic pistol. Some of you are going to think that's a list error. Stay with me, because if the question is which firearms owners never sell, the GP100 may be the single most unkillable entry on this list. Ruger launched it in 1985 with one objective: build a revolver capable of firing .357 Magnum indefinitely without the cylinder loosening. Over nearly 40 years of production, it has never failed that standard. Triple cylinder lockup, front, rear, and base of the frame, keeps the cylinder aligned regardless of round count or load pressure. Solid frame construction with no side plate, compatible with .38 special, 4.2-inch barrel, 6 or 7 round capacity, weight 1,134 grams. Owners with 20,000 full-power .357 Magnum rounds report one maintenance item: spring replacement. Nothing else. A revolver that mechanically simple does not enter the secondary market. It gets inherited. Number 4. Beretta 92 FS. In 1984, the United States Army organized a competition to replace the Colt 1911A1, the standard American military sidearm for more than 70 years. One winner emerged from more than 150 submissions: the Beretta 92 FS. From 1985 through 2017, the 92 FS served as the official U.S. Army sidearm under the M9 designation. 32 years, 2 Gulf Wars. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers trusted it in combat. The open-top slide, the rectangular cutout at the top of the chamber, is functional engineering, not aesthetics. It clears the exit path for spent casings even when extraction is partially compromised, eliminating the majority of stovepipe failures. Double action, single action, 9mm, 4.9-inch barrel, 15 plus 1. Weight 948 grams. A 92 FS with 20,000 rounds sells near new. Retail price on the secondary market. That does not happen with ordinary firearms. When a well-used gun commands new prices, the market has made a permanent statement about the original purchase. Before we get to the top 3, subscribe right now. Next video is the other side of this list: the guns that lost half their value before the owner came home from the gun store. You want that one. Hit subscribe. Number 3. Sig Sauer P226. The P226 entered the same 1984 Army competition. Final reliability scores from independent military testing were virtually identical to the 92 FS. In several categories, the P226 outperformed it. The contract went to Beretta by a margin of a few dollars per unit. Cost, not performance, was the deciding factor. The Naval Special Warfare Command ran its own independent evaluation in 1986 and chose the SIG P226, the Mk25 variant, rear with a trident engraved on the frame, remains the official sidearm of United States Navy SEALs today. Double action, single action, 9mm, 4.4-inch barrel, 15 plus 1. Weight 842 grams. Aluminum alloy frame. Nitron finished steel slide for corrosion resistance. Negative market data on the P226 is nearly non-existent. Forum criticisms, when cataloged, reduced to 2 items: magazine pricing and weight for concealed carry. That is the complete complaint record for a pistol in continuous professional service for more than 40 years. Number 2. Glock 19. In 1982, Gaston Glock, an Austrian engineer with no previous firearms design background, submitted a handgun to the Austrian Army Procurement Office. Industry veterans were openly skeptical. The polymer frame, the internal passive safeties, the unconventional striker system. None of it matched what established manufacturers were producing. The industry was wrong. The Glock 19, the compact variant introduced in 1988, became the most widely issued duty pistol in United States law enforcement history. 4-inch barrel, 15+1 capacity. Weight 670 grams. Lighter than any all-metal pistol in its category by a significant margin. The polymer frame that drew professional mockery in 1982 cut the weight ceiling to a level no steel or aluminum competitor has matched. The safe action system integrates 3 passive safety mechanisms internally, in the trigger, the firing pin, and the slide, with no external safety lever. No manual safety to disengage under stress, no safety to forget. It feeds reliably on every commercially manufactured 9mm round produced anywhere on the planet, from bulk steel-cased range loads to high-pressure defensive ammunition. The FBI, the DEA, the United States Secret Service. More than 65% of law enforcement agencies across the United States chose Glock as their service weapon, not because of price, because it functions correctly under every condition they tested, for decades, without meaningful systemic failure. Number 1. CZ75. Everything on this list is excellent. Number 1 is the reason the others exist. In 1975, a Czechoslovakian engineer named František Kuky designed a service pistol for the Czech military. He did not know he was building what firearms engineers and historians would spend the following 50 years calling the most influential handgun design of the modern era. 2 engineering decisions that no manufacturer had combined before 1975, and that every manufacturer has been trying to replicate ever since. First, a true double-action, single-action system with the practical option to carry hammer down for maximum passive safety, or cocked and locked for an immediate single-action first press. That range of carry options in a single well-executed platform did not exist in civilian or military service before the CZ75. Second, the slide runs inside the frame rail rather than outside it. The bore axis, the geometric center of the barrel relative to your shooting hand, sits lower than any external rail slide design can physically achieve. Lower bore axis means less muzzle flip per shot. Less muzzle flip means faster natural recovery for follow-up shots without training the compensation in. This is not marketing language. This is geometry. Manufacturers have been engineering toward this bore height for 5 decades, and consistently falling short of what Kuky solved in 1975. 9mm, 4.7-inch barrel, 16+1 capacity, weight 990 grams, full steel frame and slide machined from solid billet. Not cast, not MIM, machined. The armed forces and national police agencies of more than 75 countries adopted the CZ75 through independent procurement evaluations. Each ran their own testing. Each arrived at the same answer. Owners who document 50,000 rounds report one maintenance requirement: spring replacement. That is the entire list. 0 safety recalls across 50 years of uninterrupted production. Not one. Not a recall settled quietly. Not a voluntary upgrade program with a press release that used the word proactive. 0 in 50 years. The CZ75 is not a handgun that owners never sell because of sentimental attachment. It is a handgun that owners never sell because 50 years of independent military, law enforcement, and civilian data cannot produce a credible technical argument for replacing it with anything in production today. That is number one. And there is no close second. 8 handguns. 8 cases where the secondary market, the military, and the professional shooting community all reach the same conclusion through independent evaluation. If you're in the market right now, this is where the informed money goes. And if you found something here you didn't know, share this with someone who's about to spend on the wrong thing. Subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.